Welcome back to another CAD/CAM tutorial. This is another SolidWorks versus Siemens NX video where we model the same parts using both Siemens NX and SolidWorks, so we can compare the 3D modeling workflow between the two CAD softwares. Now, this is the part modeled with Siemens NX, and this is the part modeled with SolidWorks. So before we get right into it, please subscribe to the channel for more SolidWorks versus Siemens NX tutorials like this. Leave a like on this video if it helps you out. And let me know in the comments any problems you have in Siemens NX and SolidWorks, and I will help you out. Now let's begin. We start with Siemens NX. So this is the drawing of the parts. These dimensions and views are going to guide us. This is the top view. This is the front view from this side, and this is the right side view. We start with the base. So we create a sketch of this profile on the top view, and then we extrude by a distance of 20 millimeters. So extrude because we are adding material. Sketch section, so we can sketch the profile of the base before we extrude. Okay. We have a bigger circle of radius 39, so a diameter of 78, and a smaller circle of radius 15, so a diameter of 30. So the bigger circle center should be on the origin, and the smaller circle should be somewhere here. Okay. Make sure their centers are horizontally aligned. And the distance between the two centers is 40 millimeters. And then we use tangent lines to connect the two circles. Make sure the tangent relation is showing. And we trim with a quick trim. We trim the unwanted edges, the unwanted arcs from it. So this is what we have. And then we add the 3 holes. So we first get a constructional horizontal line, and then 2 inclined lines, which are also constructional lines. Make sure these 2 inclined lines are equal, so click on the 2 lines, equal length. And you also have to make them symmetric about the horizontal line here, so make symmetric. The primary object should be this line, secondary object this line, and the center line should be this line. Now make this a reference line, this also a reference line. This is already a reference line. Then you create an arc to connect these 2 points, the end points of the inclined lines, and the radius of the arc is 28. So we are going to use the arc by center and end point. The center should be on the origin, the first end point here, the second end point here. The radius of the arc is 28, so with the radial dimension, and also we make the line a reference line. Then we are going to draw 3 circles of the same diameter of 12 on these 3 points. Okay, so with this angle, the angle the inclined line here makes with the vertical line is 45 degrees. So with the angular dimension, click on this inclined line and this y-axis, and the angle here should be 45 degrees. So as we can see, the sketch is fully constrained. So finish. And you extrude up by 20 millimeters. Okay. So this is the base. Next, we add the cylinder on top of the base. So the outer cylinder has a diameter of 30 and a height of 65. So extrude sketch section on this face. Okay. So the circle's center should be on this origin. And the diameter is 30 millimeters. Finish. And you're extruding upwards by a distance of 65 millimeters. Set the boolean to unite so it can unite with the base and apply. And we have a hole that runs through the cylinder and the base, and the diameter of the hole is 20 millimeters. So again, with extrude sketch section, this time on this face. Okay. So a circle of diameter 20. Finish. And then set the end limit to through all. And then the boolean to subtract because we are removing material. Okay. Next, we add this feature to it. So we are going to create a sketch on this face of the cylinder, on the top face here, and then extrude individually. So create a sketch on this face. Okay. So we sketch this profile on the top view. We first have a horizontal line, and the line should be a reference line. So click on it and convert to reference. And the distance of the line is 90 millimeters. So this point here will be the center of the arcs that we are going to draw. So we draw arcs of radius 40 and radius 30. The center should be on this end point, and the end line should be vertically aligned with the center. We are going to use the arc by center and end points. So the first center should be here. The end point will be here. And then the second arc center should be here. The end point should also be here. And then you connect the end points with lines to close out the shape. Make sure this point, the origin or the center of the arcs, and this point, they are all vertically aligned. The radius of the outer arc is 40, and the radius of the inner arc is 30. Then we add tangent lines to this outer circle that joins the outer arc here. You can see there is a tangent constraint here, so click on it and delete, and make sure the two lines are equal. Again, we make them symmetric about this center line. So under make symmetric, the primary object this line, secondary object this line, and the center line should be here to make it symmetric. The angle one inclined line makes sure the center line is 12. So when we dimension this as 12 degrees, because you made them symmetric, this will also be 12 degrees. So with the angular dimension, click on this line and the center line, this will be 12 degrees. Then we close out the shape. So we use project curve to project this outer circle as a curve. And then quick trim to trim the unwanted arc. So this is the final shape finish. And then we extrude individually. So first extrude the axe. We extrude down by a distance of 30 millimeters. Under select curve, click on this area, reverse direction, and the distance should be 30 millimeters. Set the boolean to none because there is nothing here that we can join it to apply. And then you extrude this area as well. By looking at this front view, the area has an offset distance of 10 millimeters here. So we have to push it down by 10 millimeters before we start the extrusion. The extrusion is also 10 millimeters. So we click on this area, reverse down, and then we start at a distance of 10 millimeters and end at a distance of 10 plus 10, which will be the actual extrusion distance. So we end at a distance of 20, so that the 20 here minus the 10 will be the 10, which is the actual extrusion distance. And this time set the boolean to unite and unite with this block. Okay. Now this arc here, we didn't unite, so we have to now unite it. So look for this unite feature. The target body should be this base, and then the tool body should be this arc. Okay, so now they are united as one block. We can hide the sketch, so click on the sketch, hide. Next, we make this cut here, a distance of 10 millimeters, and we cut inside by 6 millimeters. So extrude sketch section on this face. Okay. Again, we need a center line from this center to this arc. Convert to reference, and then you get a rectangle. The length of the rectangle should be 10. You make it symmetric about the center line, so make symmetric. Primary object this line, secondary object this line, and the center line should be here. Now for the height, we don't really need it that much, so finish. And we cut down. This time the start distance should be 0 where we made the sketch. Reverse down, and the end limit should be 6 millimeters. Set the boolean to subtract, and okay. And then we make this cut here. So extrude sketch section, and we are going to make the sketch in the middle of the whole block. So we use this XZ plane. Okay. Get a rectangle in the middle here. The length of the rectangle is 12 and the height is 18. The rectangle is at a distance of 30 from the top here. So the distance from this line to this end line here is 30. And we make sure it is in the middle of the block. So we just click on this center and click on the origin, vertical alignment. Sketch fully constrained, so finish. And since we made the sketch in the middle, we have to extrude in 2 directions. Now the outer diameter is 30, so we start the extrusion at a distance of -15 from where we made the sketch. Because the extrusion is going in this direction, -15 will come back in this direction, and then we end at a distance of 15, so that the 15 going back plus the 15 coming here will combine to give us the full diameter of the outer circle, which is 30. Set the boolean to subtract, and okay. Finally, we can change the appearance of the block. So under the selection filter, set it to solid body so that we can select the whole body by clicking on it. in this pop-up, you see edit display. Under colors, we can change it to a strong coral color. Apply. You can even change the background to white. So come to view, edit background. In these colors, you can change them to white. Okay. Change this also to white. Okay. So yeah, that's how to model this part with Siemens NX. So we forgot to add a rib to this side. So that's what we are going to do. The diagonal of the rib connects this cylinder to this point here. So create a sketch on this XZ plane. Okay. And then with a line tool, connect this point to a point on the base. So finish. And then click on this sketch and then locate the rib feature. The thickness of the rib should be 10 millimeters here. A symmetric rib. Okay. And click on this sketch and then hide it. Next, we model with SolidWorks. So this is pretty much the same procedure we are going to use to model the block in SolidWorks. So we start with the base. In a similar way, extrude because we are adding material on the top plane. So an outer circle of radius 39, so a diameter of 78, and then a smaller circle of radius 15, so a diameter of 30. I'll use a line to connect the two centers. Make sure the line is horizontal and a construction geometry. The distance between the two centers, or the distance of the line, is 40 millimeters. So sketch fully defined, and then we use tangent lines to connect the two circles. Make sure the tangent relation is showing for both ends. So hold the shift key, click on the line and the circle, make tangent. Hold the shift key, click on the line and the circle, make tangent. And then this line and this circle, make tangent. Now we trim entities, trim the unwanted arcs from the sketch. Exit. And we extrude that by 20 millimeters. Okay. Next, we add the 3 holes. So with the hole wizard, should be a legacy hole, and the type should be a simple hole. The diameter of the holes, 12 millimeters. And the end limit, set the end condition to up to next. There is no need to add a depth. Come to positions and click on this face. Now we need a center line to connect these two centers. Make this a reference geometry. And then we need 2 inclined lines. Make the 2 lines equal. So hold the shift key, click on the 2 lines, make equal, and then hold the shift key. Now click on these 3 lines, make symmetric. Now this should be a reference line, also a reference line. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here, the end point should be here, and here. And then we draw an arc with the center point arc. The center should be here Now the radius of the arc should be 28, and the angle this line makes with the vertical is 45. Okay, so we need a vertical line here, also a reference line, and then the angle that this line makes with the vertical line is 45 millimeters. So this arc should also be a reference line. And then we place the point on these 3 points here. So this will be the centers of the holes, and okay. If you add this cylinder here, so create a sketch on the top plane. And we draw 2 circles with the center on the origin, and the outer diameter should be 30, the inner diameter 20. And then click on the extruded boss base. Under selected contours, first we select the outer circle, and the total length is 65 plus 20. $85, because we made the sketch on this face here, which will be the top plane. So 85 distance, merge result, and okay. Now select the sketch again, and this time extruded cut. Under selected contours, delete the sketch, and then click on the inner circle. Set the end limit to through or both. Okay. Okay, so the end limit should actually be through or not both. So, okay. Next, we create a sketch for this feature here. Create a sketch on this face. Get a horizontal line, that will be a reference line. And the distance is 90 millimeters. Draw 2 arcs with the center point arc. And then connect the end points to close out the shape again. Now make sure this point, hold the shift key, click on these 3 points, make vertical. The radius of the inner arc 30, the outer arc is 40. And then we join these 2 arcs here with tangent lines. Delete this tangent relation here, we don't need it. And the tangent relation should be here rather. So hold the shift key, click on this circle and the line, make tangent, make tangent. The angle the lines make with the horizontal line is 12 degrees. Now hold the shift key, click on these 3 lines, make symmetric. And then we close out the shape by using convert entities to convert this circle and trim this arc here. Exit. Now click on the sketch, extruded boss base. The first extrusion should be this area, reverse the direction, and you're extruding down by a distance of 10, but we first have to add an offset of 10. So from an offset of 10 millimeters going down, so reverse the offset, and we extrude by 10 millimeters as well. Again, click on the sketch, extruded boss base, click on this area, reverse the direction, and then we're extruding down by a distance of 30 millimeters. Okay. Next, we add this rib. So with the rib feature, we're sketching the rib on the front plane. So we need a diagonal that joins this cylinder to this point here. Okay. Exit. We want the rib to come inside, so flip material side. And the thickness of the rib is 10 millimeters. So, okay. Then we add this cut here. So extruded cut. The extruded cut should be on the front plane. We draw a rectangle. And the length of the rectangle is 12 millimeters. The height is 18 millimeters. It should be in the middle of the cylinder. So locate this center, click on it, hold the shift key and click on this origin, make vertical. And the distance from this line to the end is 30 millimeters. So this should be 30. Fully defined sketch, exit. The end limit should be through or both. Okay. Finally, we add this cut here. So again, extruded cut on this face. We need a rectangle. The height of the rectangle is 10. And then for the length, we don't really need to dimension it that much. So far as it covers the thickness of this arc cylinder here, it's okay. Now align the center horizontally with the origin. So hold the shift key and click on the origin and the center here. Make horizontal. So exit. And we're extruding down by a distance of 6 millimeters. Okay. Now change the background to plain white, and the appearance, you can change it to an orange color here. Okay. So yeah, that's how to model this part also with SolidWorks. I hope you now see the differences in the 3D modeling workflow between SolidWorks and Siemens NX, and I hope this video helped you out. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.